sports. It's in the game.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're back again for RPM Season 6, Round 10, here at the Circuit de Villeneuve around Canada. I've just had an absolute nightmare setting this up for tonight. So I'm just getting myself together, basically, while we start. Ah, damn it. Okie dokie. Right. I've just had an absolute nightmare setting Twitch up there. Nearly didn't get it done in time, but 30 seconds overdue and I got everything set up. My scene collection, for anyone that knows anything about OBS, my scene collection just fell to bits and I had to make a whole new one. So that's always fun. So yeah, round 10 already. Let me just full screen this up and bring this back down here. Okie dokie. Yeah, a bit of a slower start than usual, but new capture card should be coming to fix all of these broken problems that I'm experiencing. So yeah, round 10, after a successful sprint last week around Silverstone, the drivers now face probably a more challenging circuit for most of them. Fast, tight, and some very, very difficult corners, particularly some difficult chicanes around this circuit. Never mind things like, you know, the hairpin at the back of, well, at the other end of the circuit. I need to get the circuit map up as well. So I'm just going to crack on and do my driver stuff while the session begins behind me. We can see Riker took the lead of the championship last week, or I believe. So there'll be a tough fight between her and... sorry, Riker's not here tonight, actually. So it'll be Smith's opportunity to capitalise on that and try and close the gap to Natalie. Unless he gets a win, it won't be done by much unless she makes a mistake. As for the constructors, though, Red Bull, unfortunately it says Williams. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but Red Bull lead. So Riker has done his part, that's for sure. And Williams with Natalie are absolutely flying at the front of the championship. And that was over quicker than I'd have liked it to be. But nonetheless, the session has started. So I need to now... How am I going to do this? I have an idea. Right, can I do this? Yes, I can. Right. I'm just having to experiment here because my OBS is just completely gone, so I'm just experimenting with how I can have everything on the screen at the same time that I need since it's all busted. Oh, and it's gone. Okay, let's get this set up. Everyone will be heading out on their laps. So, for the time being, let's just ride on board with Matty, presumably. Yeah, there he is. And I'm just going to take a moment to try and figure this all out. Right, bloody hell. If you can see my setup now, you would laugh, I think. Yeah, you'd absolutely laugh. Okay. Right, I'm with you now. Here we go. I'm ready. I could do with an audio check. How's the game volume? If this, hang on, if this is too loud or loud, oh yeah, that's too loud. Okay, this will have to do for the onboards. So, I'm in chat, I see Higgsy and Alex, welcome you two. Well, I wouldn't go that far, Alex, but, you know, I'll take the compliment nonetheless, and I hope you enjoy, presumably, watching the Champions League in length, which I completely forgot was on. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on in the background, obviously, because it would be silly not to. Okay, yeah, so it's also a Champions League watch-along for those, yeah, for those who are with me, which I don't imagine there'll be many, but we will see. Okay, the first time posted on the board is the 111.3, and Ivor next across the line. In with that, they offer a Mayo of Dino about across the line, and he goes third fastest, and the other half, Leaky, slowly bumping Ivor down as they cross the line, about half a second or more in between these drivers now. Who's coming next? We've got the Mercedes of Smith. Let's see how he gets on for the first time through the Wall of Champions. Hopefully not a jinx that he does that very well, actually, considering the track condition at the moment. Let me go back. Seems alright to me. Yeah, if wouldn't just keep me posted, basically. This is how it's going to have to be for this week, and then I'm not here next week, and then it's a break week. So this is it for the time being. Smith is on a cooldown, so let's find someone who is on a flyer. We're going to have Scooter, Inorganic, and Callum. Let's ride on board with Scooter, because he's first across the line. I am interested to see how people get on through the Wall of Champions chicane. So, Inorganic is coming through there now. Let's see how he gets on. And then Callum was next, I believe. I know he's just done it, so we'll catch up with Jones at the end of his lap as well, and see if anyone can get themselves a real flyer down the straight. Not bad at all. You know what? Let's ride on board with Lee. We've got some of his family in the chat, so why not see how he gets on, and hopefully he can put a dent in between some of those times. Right now, I need to start thinking about making use of the telemetry data that we have. So you guys just this is why I need a co-commentator, because I cannot do all of this. He's going well though, Inorganic. He is going well. I'll get better, to be fair. I just don't even know what I'm looking to bring up yet. So let's just compare. I'm going to compare second v third. Here we go. This is the kind of shit that RPM brings to you these days, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it didn't work. Well, that's a shame. Why hasn't it worked? That is odd. Is it because I haven't set it? But I have set it. Anyway, in organic, unfortunately, not enough to separate any of those drivers. Jones, I believe, was on a lap. And we'll see how he gets on with some high pace through the wall of champions. Well, the chicane. I need to stop calling it that because it's not really what it is. Matty still with pole position. No one's managed to budge him yet, and it's a little bit... Has he backed out of it, I think, there, Jones? Yes, he has. He doesn't want that lap. Oh, he must have invalidated. Yes, of course. Of course. No time on the board yet for Jones then. But Matty is coming around once again. I am going to use this qualifying opportunity as a time to try and fix what's going on with this stuff. Because there you go. So that's worked. Right. This one's worked. The other one hasn't for some reason. So in a fresh new little graphic that we have for you guys, we can pop up the stats of any driver. So why not take the Nia championship leader? Well, not quite, P2. She's only made 8 starts, she's won 5 of them, and she's been on 6 podiums, only twice not on the podium. However, you can see there, the average qualifying, she doesn't often start on pole, which is quite interesting actually. So she might, we'll see if that happens again today. So far, she's only good enough for P5, so below average performance thus far, but still 2 laps to go. Matty flying through the chicane there, that was a good camera angle. And let's just see if this works, if I just say, yeah, there you go, so we can compare that to Smith. He's made 1 extra start. Natalie obviously missed the first round, made a debut in Belgium. However, Matty with only 1 win so far. It's enough to stay within touching distance of the championship leaders, but not enough as it stands. And let's change the driver now and see how Spivey gets on as he goes round to set his first lap of the session. Average qualifying there for Smith, only P6, so, you know, that proves that he gets up during the race and gets on with it and gets some overtakes done. Today, however, he's also below average. I'm really keen to understand, though, why this race form... Oh, there you go. Well, hey, we're back. So there you go. That was the comparison I was going to make earlier. The previous 5 results now available on stream as well. However, I have realised that it is not ideally positioned. So let's go ahead and fix that before my OCD kicks off. There we go. Yeah, so Natalie has been on the podium the last 3 races after a bad result a few rounds ago. Maybe we can add little flags to that so I can prompt myself as to which races there were. But 3 wins in the last 5. Matty with a win around Imola after lunging down the inside, I believe, to take the lead in the final corner of the final lap. But he'll be after a podium, absolutely, especially with Riker not being around today. He will fancy himself on the podium. Spivey comes across the line. So that's a time only good enough for 13th, the slowest lap so far today. But Callum, just as we catch him nicely, he is making his way around to start his second lap as Natalie there goes and punches it right onto the front row of the grid by, 3 tenths exactly, nearly 3 tenths exactly. A 1:11.088. So all the talk about the lack of pole positions, she's on for provisional as it stands. We're right on board with Callum, and we'll see how he gets on. There's an issue down in sector 3. That's just traffic. All good there. And Danos, there you go. Wow, Danos says, no, you're alright, I'll come along and I'll take that pole position. As he does. So Danos, the first driver into the 110s. And let's check out Callum's sector times. Let's see, we're loading lap history. This might only be race lap history, which I think it is, so we will ignore that. I missed the sector time, ironically, looking at the task system. I'm also glancing down at the Champions League, so this is one hell of a time. I'm going to have to keep checking up on chat now and again, and Callum's invalidated, unfortunately. He's taken too much there. Oh, but he didn't use his ERS, so has Callum done a double outlap there? Fair enough. Maybe he invalidated early and I missed it, to be honest. But he did cut the chicane again, so this must... No, I'm getting myself confused here. So, Callum needs a 6/10 advantage if he is to take pole. He's a 10th up. A good start, and he'll look to gain more. He might have compromised himself a little bit on the entry with the left-hander there. But he gets DRS open nonetheless. And I will this time keep an eye on his sector 2 time. And he's now 2/10 up. So, can he gain another 10th or 2 in this final sector? Which could see him quite easily onto the second row. If you're pushing the front row, he'd have to absolutely nail this final chicane if he's going to be anywhere near the front row. Oh, and he comes into the pits. Okay, I've just been bamboozled. I've been bamboozled. Who else is flying? Alfa Romeo. It is Dino. Dino comes across the line to start his lap. Jones, though, I'm interested in Jones. Is he on a lap? It looks like he's on a lap, unless I'm about to be bamboozled again. So, let's ride on with the Aston Martin driver and see where he can put it. Now, I've got to switch between tabs all the time to check the chat. So, we've got Kieran saying good luck to the McLarens. And Callum in organic and Jones. Oh, and Jones has bamboozled me as well. What's going on? He hasn't set a time yet. And he's just coming into the pit lane. Right, Snellhenk, my teammate, please don't do me dirty. I'm going to ride on board this time and give you a proper one. Braking just as the curb finishes there on the right and taking as much curb on the left as you can. Keeping it tight, you might want to short shift there, maybe into fourth a little bit sooner. Just after the 100 metre board, you want to take as much curb, and he's invalidated unfortunately, so he will back out of that. That's the tricky part of that, the speed and the time. All comes from taking as much as you can, but not taking too much. And unfortunately, on that occasion, the McLaren took a little bit too much. Dino is flying, but he doesn't really have... Here we go, inorganic. He's on a clean lap. He's gained, I think it said 6/10 there. And that's still, unfortunately, not enough to budge him at all. He gained a massive amount, but not enough. Ferrari, it's Danos. Here we go. Right, he's not going to mess with us this time. This is for real. This is for real. Danos means business tonight. He's on pole. He's got it. He can improve. He probably will improve. So let's see how he gets on as he exits turn 2 and down towards turn 3. This is the tricky part, though. Let's see what happens. He's okay, he continues on through 4. And he's carried all that speed. And now the heavy braking zone of turn 6. He's taken a very good amount of curb there. That's exactly what you want to see. And he's got his foot to the floor. This is a good lap. And we'll check his sector 2 time. You're going to brake just as the bridge. And good using the curb to his advantage. And it's clean so far. 1 braking zone to go before the high speed chicane. He's only up 8/100ths of a second though. It'll be an improvement, but we'll have to keep our eyes out on Natalie, who is about to leave the pit lane to start her final lap. Smith and Matty also out. They're only 4/10 or 3/10 off, so all still to play for. They're about to be half a second off if Danos keeps it up. Let's see. Remains within the lines, gets his foot to the floor. He's going to improve surely by over a 10th, and as he crosses the line, Danos sets a 9.23. Just a very small increase, but hey, that could be the difference. Let's see, Smith is about to start his. So we're finding all the action early on. And the Champions League is underway. I'm going to turn the volume up just in case the score. Let's hope we don't get copyright strikes. I'm sure we'll be alright. Take one more look at the chat. Enjoy the race. Yes, I will, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers to you too. The beer is on its way. Yeah, we've got Baka and Inorganic saying good evening. He should be focusing on his driving. But Baka is with us. Good evening to everyone. How many have we got? 14. Decent. Decent. Let's try and get to 20 before the race starts. But 14 is good. Let's get some early predictions as well. Who's going to take pole? Who's going to, what's going to happen? Safety cars? Yes, no. Matty's going for a double out. He's obviously going to make the most of the track temperature. Is anybody else flying? Rodo is flying. Natalie is also making her way out. This doesn't look like a very quick lap from Rodo. Dino's gone. Where's that? In the pit lane? In the pit lane. Okay, that's fine. Right, so who were we with before? Smith, who went for a double warm. Probably came out a little bit too early and thought, let's make the most of the track temp, which he is absolutely doing. Maximum grip in this lobby. And there's a big hold big hold up down there at the hairpin. And here we go. As he sets off on his lap. And just to remind everybody, because I like bringing this kind of stuff up, Smith has only ever had, I believe, what was that? One pole position? Where's the pole position? Oh, I don't think there is a pole position. But he has had pole before. Doesn't say how many though, unfortunately, so that might be after stats that we can add at some point later on. So Danos is finished. His time is set. Smith is flying. Natalie is flying behind him, so we can catch up with that. As he crosses the sector 2 line, he's nearly 3/10 up, and that could be enough for pole position. Well, it will be enough for pole position as long as he doesn't lose it. Natalie is coming around the final corner as well. She's right behind Smith here, so it might be a moment of glee for Smith. Soon ended though when Natalie takes pole. Let's see what happens. The Mercedes comes across the line, takes pole position by 0.2 of a second. Natalie has come into the pit lane. She invalidated a lap, and that is her done. And I believe that is everybody else done as well. So Smith, congratulations to you. He takes pole. Jones, though, comes across the line, sets his first time of the session. Good enough for P9, I guess, after an interrupted session, maybe full of some mistakes. You never know, track limits and stuff around here. P9 is better than P16. But Smith takes the cake by over 0.2. By over 0.2. So, absolutely stunning drive from him. He rushed in the house late last night, late just after work tonight. So, he sat himself down with minimal practice and got and stuck it on pole. Just had myself a little snack, which I'll continue to do, and had some nice beer by my side. Bernardo Silva just took a delightful touch on his chest. Plays it into the path of Gundogan. He looks for Walker out wide. Slipped out though. I mean, I may as well commentate football while we're waiting. Why the hell not? Not really sure who I want to win this one, to be honest. I do kind of want City to win the Champions League this year, so I guess them. Not too I'm a bit impartial, really, so just a good game. Just want a good game. Haaland in the box, gets dispossessed. Tony Kroos back there in his own 6-yard box, pretty impressive. Natalie's been in chat, saying the track limits needs to suck it. So maybe she invalidated when she commenced the lap and then drove the entire lap just knowing that she wasn't going to be able to improve, which is very disappointing. That would really annoy me. Okay. So the two front runners this time starting on the hards. Natalie was on the alternate strategy last week, which over the course of RPM turned out to be the optimal strategy. However, this time she switches, she reverts back to the medium tyre to begin the race, which means that dreaded outlap on the hards. Pretty mixed actually throughout the grid. No big set. I mean, the two guys, Mocky going big at the back with a medium set, and I like it from Ivor as well. He fancies a few positions, and looking for him, the next 4 drivers have all opted for the hard. So if you can get a good start, get the drive out of turn 2, you could be making some lunges into the chicanes. Plenty of opportunity for overtaking around here. I would argue there's at least, what, 5, maybe 6 if you count the chicane, which would be hella risky, but someone might go for it. And Smith leads us round. Mocky at the back, pack pretty close together, so we shouldn't be waiting too long. De Bruyne, big save, Courtois offside. Right, I'm going to have to decide who and what I take from this data. But for now, we ride on as the final drivers take their position on the grid. A few disqualifications toward the front there, not good for Rodo or Callum, especially if those are drivers on the hards, which Rodo is. He's going to have a nightmare now at the start, unfortunately. Here we go though, the green flag has been waved at the back. We have 5 lights and the Canadian Grand Prix is underway. It looks like Danos has got the better start and he's passed Smith off the line. Natalie also looked to get a better start, but she's been bending a little bit by Danos. Smith looks to force it around the outside, which he has done. And so has Natalie. Danos in a bit of trouble here. He can't squeeze her. He hasn't. He's left the room. And Smith regains the lead as they head into turn 3. Rodo's gained some positions as well, but the top 3 very close together. They've already dropped Rodo by a second. But a frantic start there in which Danos lost that position to Natalie, but Smith lost it and regained it in a great move around the outside. And he leads them down the first back straight for the first time. And look at the gap already. Rodo on those cold, hard tyres has really caused a bit of a bottleneck there in the early phases. And Matty's all over him straight away. Look at that come out the chicane. He's enabled some ERS and he's already got the move done. We've got Ivor putting himself on Leaky, but he goes very deep and nearly completely obliterates that McLaren, and he's pulled onto the track safely enough. Jones takes that position off him, and now he's in an Aston Martin sandwich. All the drivers looking to make it through the chicane. We've got someone going side by side already there. Callum's surely going to have to give that place back. It doesn't look like he's going to do it, but he completely cut the chicane. I mean, that's the cost of going 2x2. I'm not sure who was in the lead going into that one. I could be wrong. But he did cut an awful lot of that circuit. It doesn't look like he's going to give it back. And Jones closing in now as well. And Natalie has taken Smith. I've completely missed that one. Sorry, everyone. Natalie has taken Smith, and she's already got 7/10 on him. He's still there. He's still going to be within DRS at the start of the next lap. But Natalie has taken the lead of the race. As we said earlier, she doesn't often qualify on pole, but it doesn't take her long in a race scenario to get a few overtakes done and get on with the job. Jones really closing into the Haas. Lit up the rears a little bit too aggressively there. Got a little bit of wheel spin. Didn't get the drive he was looking for. And Leakey's gained that half-second back. Spivey, the next closest driver, looking to gain on the Williams. Natalie setting the fastest lap of the race of 14.165. And Callum's pitted. Race control, DRS has been enabled. Callum is serving... no, he's not. He's got a broken front wing. Did he clip the wall, maybe, coming through the chicane? I caught him late. Maybe he tapped the wall. So disastrous start from Callum, who started in P5. Or P6. And he now finds himself at the back of the pack. He might try and conserve the tyres, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to go the race distance with those. So we'll have to hope for a late safety car, which is more than likely around here, I must admit. Meanwhile, Natalie's dropped Smith out of DRS already, and crucially Danos is closing in within half a second. Look at that, the next 5-6 drivers, none of them are anywhere near each other. Jones is close to his teammate. Be interesting to see if there's any team orders at play, especially when they hit the DRS zone. But let's see. Danos, he's going to gain and gain and gain on Smith. He's not going to be close enough to take him into this chicane. What's going to happen down at Aston Martin? Half a second in it. But I think Leakey should be more concerned than Jones than Nocky at the minute. So, I'm going to bring to you this, if it's going to work, if I refresh this. That's a shame. Oh, there you go, it's back, cool. So, I bring to you the delta comparisons. I'm going to compare P2 and P3, who seem to be lapping around a second with each other. As you can see, Danos is a lot quicker than Smith in both Sector 1 and Sector 2, but he's losing all that time in the straight line speed of Sector 3. So, clearly there, you can see Smith running a much slicker setup, blitzing him by 2.5 seconds. However, Danos is gaining slowly, bit by bit, so no mistakes, and he'll gain and gain and gain in those sectors. But the issue is, he could be a 10th behind him going into the braking zone, and Smith will just drive away. Often, I find on this game, it's usually better to just run low wing and sacrifice some cornering speed. However, look at that, it's all just changed. Danos had a big issue at some point in that lap, unfortunately. And now he's dropped off the boil a little bit. Not many close battles going on. Unfortunately, Jones, the closest driver, Mockey's got past Leakey. As I said, he should have been more concerned. And now Jones is right on him. Interestingly, I'm interested in this little battle actually, because I'm not sure how Leakey is. Let's have a look. Wow, look at that, the last lap. Huge gains there. That maybe isn't a very representative lap, because to lose a second in Sector 1, there must have been a mistake, but nonetheless, we'll get rid of that for now, as Jones looked to stick it up the inside of the Haas. He's left him the room, and the Haas has got the better drive here, you know. And he's got DRS. The Haas remains in front and takes DRS. Jones also has it though, so he's going to look to put a move on him as we go through the chicane. Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. He brakes cautiously. He gives himself a warning just to be safe. Not the most ideal thing, and Ivor, the first driver of the evening, similarly to last week around Silverstone, to his own admission, the first driver to pick up track limits. That's 3 mistakes in 6 laps, so he better tone that down. Otherwise, he'll find himself ahead with another week of many, many penalties. The battle now is between Matty and Danos, and it's surely only a matter of time before Matty gets the move done. Give that a moment and it will refresh. I believe. There we go. And they're going side by side and Matty's got it done. You know, every time it finally refreshes, the move's done. It will work though, now that I've changed it. I just have to refresh the cache, so that will work next time. It's all a learning curve, everyone. It's all a learning curve. So, the podium changes hands then. Matty's got some free air, 2 seconds ahead before Smith. So we'll see how those times get on. Maybe we can run a successful test of the delta and the striking distance for you guys to have a little look at what Smith has been working on, and it's only fair to use it on him as he looks to defend P2 maybe eventually. But unfortunately, up and down the grid, not too much going on. Big gaps in the midfield, and some of the drivers at the back closing in. Scooter right up the back of Ivor, chasing him through the second sector now. And Ivor's made a mistake, but so has Scooter on the other side. Nothing giving either between the Aston Martins, which I've just seen. Jones and Mocky. No team orders there, even though Jones is within half a second. Let's see who gets the better exit here, actually. Jones going to take it nice and easy. He's already cut the chicane once that I'm aware of. And he's on the weaker compound. It was all over the back of him, but nothing given here. And Mocky's got a penalty. You'd like to think the sensible thing would be to switch these drivers around before it's too late. But Mocky might not be aware. Jones is surely going to stick one on him sooner rather than later. So we'll ride on with this as the battle heats up. So look at this now, Jones, is he going to peel out from behind the slipstream? No, he wants to try and get a better exit there and make it a move into turn one, which is a sensible option. And that is exactly what he's done. He moves around the outside of Mocky, who's not going to fight it. And he didn't make it easy for him, but Jones got the move done eventually. He's a very conscious guy, so he wouldn't. The last thing he wanted to do would be to cut off his teammates. So he's gone deep, just in case Mocky decided to lunge him. But he's now got some free air to catch up with Snellhank. Oh, press the wrong button there. Trying to be too quick. I'm trying to learn the buttons so I do everything quickly. Yes, we've got some free air. Try and catch up to the McLaren. He can see him ahead. Either another set of penalties. I believe that is only 6. I hope it's not anymore. Yeah, it's only 6. And now Callum. It's getting to that point now where the drivers are starting to pick up penalties. The top 8 are okay. Dino now in DRS of Danos. It's been a pretty normal opening 9 laps here, as Natalie's about to lead us onto the 10th lap, nearly a third of the way through the Grand Prix. No risk of safety car. I don't even think there's been any yellow flags. And no DNFs yet, which is always good to see. If the drivers can just keep it within the track limits, we'll have a very fair, very successful race. And as I say that, Scooter, and who's that? Jones. I've just cursed him. I said there's been no yellow flags. Oh no. He's beached it. He's beached it. Disaster. Absolute disaster. He's been disqualified. Oh bro. Oh man. That is painful. He was intact, I believe. He was intact. Now, hopefully, he joins me on comms. That would be something if he hops into the Discord. Let me just see if he wants to join me on comms. Jones. Right, let's hope he does. I wouldn't be surprised if he just got pissed off and just left, because that's really, really frustrating. What a way to go out. Wait, did I just open Discord then close it again? That's a bit silly. Okay, back to it then. So Natalie leads still. Smith getting dropped nearly 2 seconds. Matty unable to catch him though, so he's not made any inroads. Without any major incidents, this is probably how the top 3 or 4 are going to finish. Dino's in with a shot though. He's definitely in with a shot. He's gaining. Who's that though? Frax is sideways and he has to stay where he is. Good driving. He's got time now. Going to have to do a quick 3-point turn though before Callum. Has he just spun around the wrong way? No, he's got himself going. Good stuff. And stay where you are. Good stuff, guys. Unfortunately for Frax, he now finds himself in P15. Everyone who finishes will score points, but not many. Not many down there. Unfortunately, Leaky now pressuring in behind here. Yeah, unfortunately, as you might have thought there, Jones has had enough with this game, which I think most of us have at this point. So he'll go and rig himself up a nice drink, I'm sure, and just bed in for the night and watch some Champions League football. So that's honestly, man, that's killer. It's absolutely killer. Like as I was going to say, it didn't even look like he had damage. He may have just made a mistake. Maybe he tapped the wall slightly. And it's spun him round, and all he can do is floor it over the sausage curb. And he's just teetered ever so slightly. He nearly got the traction down, but then the weight of the car... Oh, good bloody hell. Ivor's just gone straight over the chicane there, and he gives the position back. Rightly so. Good driving. Good stuff there, lads. Dino really gained, and that's what I was going to do. I might not need to do it, though. I was going to get the differences in lap times up. But it looks like we might be having a move for P4 in the next few laps, which would be great. So let's check. Oh, he's gone deep there though. That's going to offset him a little bit there. Oh, it's offset him massively. It's offset him massively. Why didn't he just Oh, he left. Okay, so he's disconnected and he's had an issue. So that is now AI. Rodo, hopefully, won't get caught in behind this AI for too long. He's realised, I think, and he gets him straight on by. So there's a warning for anyone listening. Dino is an AI. Scooter is about to put a move on Mocky. Let's see it. A little bit of a slide there from the Aston, and another slide, another slide. They're all sliding around, and Mocky's in the wall. He keeps it going and loses some places to Ivor, and Spivey's going to come next. Mocky keeps it alive. The Aston Martin had a little drift, and then the Haas had a little drift, and then the Aston Martin drifted straight into the wall. Thankfully, not terminal though, and that's put Ivor right in a good position to pick up some places off the top 10. Yeah, just consolidating Jones there, unfortunately. Sorry, that's not the right word. Commiserations or whatever it is. Right, well, I'm back with you now. Alone. Lonely. Meanwhile, let's take a look. 8 seconds between Rodo and Danos. So, again, that's going to be a huge mountain to climb. And then another 7 seconds to Stelhang. So, a really, really spread field here. This will be an interesting battle. Father v son. I can't imagine there'll be too much love lost between these two. I would imagine Callum would absolutely love to stick one up the inside of the chicane. So let's see what happens. I'm going to get these two up and see if Callum is inevitably going to take inorganic, which that can't be right. There's okay, it might be something to do with pits or something's gone wrong, but look at that. He absolutely breezes past. And before the chicane, he's been let through perhaps there by his dad, which is all fair play, but he nearly drops it and his dad's going to take it back. Maybe he wasn't let through. No, he was let through because he's just given him the place back. All fair play. I would do the same. Otherwise, it might be a quiet dinner table or a quiet breakfast table tomorrow morning if they both end up in the wall. And a little tight pack of 3 cars here, which is good to see. Dino, Scooter, and Leaky. Dino's had a bit of a fall from grace. Oh, it's his AI, of course. So, let's hope these two don't get held up by that. And Natalie is into the pits then. The medium tyres turning off after 15 laps. And that promotes a few people. So we should really look at what Smith can do over the next few laps. Both of those drivers now passed. And just more massive gaps. There's basically 5 seconds between every car here, aside from these guys at the back. Nobody barely, apart from Leaky, has DRS. Very, very strange. Must be some varying wing levels around the place tonight. Check the chat, which I haven't looked at in a while. Let's see. I was disqualified before that. Rest in peace. For letting everyone pass. Absolute joke. Yeah. Yeah. You know, if they're going to be serious about esports leagues, they should really give you, like, custom settings. Where, like, in that scenario, you can turn off disqualifications. Like, only in that kind of scenario, for example. Things like that. But they'll never do that. Just like they'll never give me customization on where I can put this flipping timing sheet, which is just the middle ground from the end of the name to the start of the timer is just, it's just needless. It could be a good 30% smaller, but it's not. So, you know, we wait on. Yeah, very unfortunate for you there, Jones, mate. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, Scooter has come in. So them hards, let's take a look. I haven't looked at tyres yet, actually. Let's take a look at how they are getting on. How is Smith getting on? There's so much to look at on the telemetry. It's great. I'm like spoiled for choice, really. It's doing okay. 30% on his fronts, 40%, however, on his rears. But he could definitely get away with plenty more laps before he has to think about pitting. However, look at the gaps and the margins that we've got. In fact, we've got that much margin that I think I'm just going to get rid of it for the time being, because no one's going to be taking each other. So we can just ride on board with a little bit more screen real estate. And we can maybe take a look at some stats. I'm not going to show you the live tables because Natalie is out of position. Those on the alternate strategy are out of position, so that would be silly to do. But as I said, Smith's tyres holding up nicely. And has that Natalie coming out behind the Alpine? Yes, it is. Let's see how she gets on. And we've also got Moki, who's just passed Frax. He was the next closest driver. He's taking P13, a few extra points in the bag. Yeah, the move's going to get done. I was eating another snack. I still am eating another snack. With presumably a faster car, better tyres. Natalie gets that one done quite easily. And, of course, hangs on to DRS. I will check this for you, Higgsy. There we go. Plenty of drivers left to pit. So it'll reshape the order up. In fact, let's bring up the interval times because we've got some action going on down here. A massive pack. 2 come at the pit lane there though. So the pack has shrunk a little bit. And all of a sudden the closeness has completely disappeared. Spive is in for a new front wing. And who is that who's just come in? Oh, Dino's AI's come in. So it's Scooter and Callum. That's all we've got. McLaren versus a Red Bull. I do quite like watching McLarens overtake Red Bulls. Not that it happens very much in real life. But when the day comes, I'll love it. So there you go, Higgsy. There's your pit stops. Top 3 and P567 yet to pit off the hard tyre. And Natalie has taken Danos as he comes in the first, well maybe not the first, but one of the first hard tyre runners to come into the pit lane. And he'll have to do 15 or 16 laps on those medium tyres. And Scooter has got the drive also on that looser compound. But Callum's got the drive. And Organic is taking Spivey at the back as well. And Scooter comes flying up past. So he must have enabled some ERS. And he's got the move done there though. Let's see who's having a good race really. It's Snellhank and Mocky. But Snellhank, biggest gainer, and Matty also up as well, which is good to see. Got Frax and Mocky within DRS of each other as well in the battle for P11. So in terms of laps, another piece of data that's Smith. Oh, and speeding in the pit lane. Let's see what happens here then between Natalie. Let's see the gap that she's built up on those medium tyres. Speeding in the pit lane and possibly even a... I don't know who's taking them back. Oh. Natalie clears them, as you would expect. Rodo stays out. And he inherits P3, but not ahead of Smith. However, he's going to be all over it, but he's yet... Is he yet to pit? Yeah, he is yet to pit, so that is no cause for concern, but he'll pick himself up a nice little toe of DRS. 3 seconds the gap, and Smith, crucially, he's picked up that 5-second penalty, which really will come back to bite him, I believe, toward the end of the race. The McLarens... one McLaren enters the pit lane. In fact, no, he's just exited the pit lane. And Mocky is putting a move on Callum. Once again, these two still going tooth and nail. After we left them last time, and they're turning on each other a little bit. Yeah, Mocky didn't leave him an awful lot of room there. But Callum has the ERS, and he can see Mocky flashing ahead of him. Yeah, so I was going to say, Natalie has the fastest Sector 1 at 20.7. Inorganic, actually, has the fastest Sector 2, I believe. So he'll... Oh, Vinicius Jr. has just scored a rocket. And Real Madrid take the lead against Manchester City. That was... I mean, I only saw it hit the top of the net, but that looked like an absolute stunner. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that, given the lack of battling going on in today's race. I don't think I've ever seen times like it, really. No drivers within DRS apart from Dino and Callum. Let's see, Modric with a lovely little outside of the boot flick on. Camavinga just drives on. Finds Vinny, lets it run beyond him, and in his second touch, strikes it. Not even a good top bins, to be honest. It's a very powerful shot, but you'd think Edison might save that. Anyway, Mocky and Callum going side by side. This is the only action we've got. But Callum knows he's got the ERS. He should really look to get past him and then burn some battery and put a gap in between the two drivers. Rodo pits. And Smith and Matty are exchanging fastest laps. And now Danos comes in and takes the fastest lap. And there's been contact. That's Callum round. Mocky once again, unfortunately not leaving enough room. And two young drivers there. I believe Mocky's only 14 or 15, and I think Callum is probably a similar age. They come together, two of the youngest drivers on the grid, and all of a sudden there is Dad letting off, and he's not going to take him again, which I absolutely love to see, because it's just dead canny, isn't it? What's this though? Who's this slow ahead? Frax. What was that all about? Frax let them by. And Inorganic has taken the position of Callum. Frax might have picked up damage. He boxes. Spivey, look at this. Right on the bumper of the AI once again. God, they really are exchanging the fastest lap. Smith, Danos and Matty are all absolutely flying. It's a shame they aren't closer together, because that would be some real good racing. And now look at this again. There isn't anyone anywhere near each other. Who is the closest? Just so I can at least do some comparisons. I mean, Scooter is close to his teammate, but he's got penalties. Most of these drivers actually now have a lot of penalties. Natalie, Danos, Snellhank, Spivey and Dino, well, never be Dino, Spivey, Snellhank, Danos and Natalie, the only ones who haven't picked up anything yet, and Scooter is up to 9 seconds worth of penalties. Ivor hasn't made any errors in a while, which is good. He is still on the 6 that he had in the first 10 laps, I believe, so he's managed to really restrain himself and keep it within the lines, which is good to see. Yeah, unfortunately not the best use case for the new data. I mean, it gives me a chance to take a look. Let's see, and there's not going to be any rain coming, is there? So no chance of rain, which is good. Let's actually, Smith is gaining actually on Natalie here. So, wow, he really is gaining on Natalie. I'm really glad we're going to have some action here. That 5-second penalty, though, unfortunately, will kill it. But he is absolutely flying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up the data for him. Here we go. Here's a good example of it. So, brought to you by Race League Manager. His own tool, Smith, can tell us that in 2 laps you might well be within striking distance of Natalie, and the suggestion is that it will be quite an easy pass. He's just outside of ERS. Let's compare. He's just outside of DRS. Let's compare ERS, and Smith lacking by about 10%. Now I'm going to just ignore that penalty and commentate like it were a battle for the lead, because that would be boring to do anything other. And I'm not going to lie, Matty is also coming at this as well. He is as close as he's as close to Smith as Natalie is. To Smith himself. And unfortunately, again, the commentator's curse. Ivor goes around and picks up his 9th track limits warning of the night and converts that into a nice 9-second penalty. So that has now dropped to within 3 laps. And the delta times, you can see Smith gaining roughly 0.2 a lap, but dropping a little bit in that high speed. So earlier when we compared him to, I believe it was Danos, Oh, his teammate. I think he's going to get DRS, but his teammate really could have given him it there and then got out the way at the bottom of the hairpin, for example. But he's got it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, really, earlier when we saw that Smith was gaining in the straight line against Danos, I think it was. Now, he's gaining in the corners on Natalie. So Natalie is running an even trimmer wing. So it's fairly level. But Smith, on those better tyres, is soon going to be in a position to attack Natalie as the numbers now change around as they both cross the line. Smith taking a huge chunk out of Natalie there. Best part of 4 tenths. Here we go then. Pseudo challenge for the lead, and Pseudo challenge for P2 really, because although they've both got penalties, Smith's currently in the worst position of them all. He's not going to think about it yet, but you'll look to get the exit, which he might have on those tyres, but Natalie's got it. I don't think he's going to be in a position at this point to take it. But he knows that the driver is within range, but so is Matty. He's all over the back of this, and Matty could come out of nowhere really and gain all that time back. He's taken even a bigger chunk out of Natalie because he was 1.3 seconds behind Smith. And in the same time that he's only gained half a tenth, he's gained 2 seconds. And he's better off on penalties. It will be interesting to know. It says Natalie has 2 warnings as well, but Smith also has 2 warnings. Now, Smith did warn me that that doesn't always signify track limits warnings. It can be any kind of warning. But for the purpose of entertainment, let's presume that both the front and the second car are on for track limits penalties. And if Natalie gets it, then this really does spice things up. And she's under pressure. She's absolutely under pressure, and that might force a mistake. There's plenty of places to pick it up around here. And if they go side by side, she could quite easily get ahead of herself and drive off track. This is what we want to see. While it was very quiet, we've got the McLarens passing each other through the chicane. Actually, that would have been a decent move by a Scooter, but he's got 9 seconds worth of penalties, so a bit of a needless overtake on his teammate there, especially considering the gap ahead to Rodo. I dropped a weight on my foot earlier, and it really hurts. It was only 10 kilos though, so it's not too bad. Could have been worse, but it's like red and bruised. Anyway, less of my foot talk. There it is! I mean, sorry, I'm not happy, but there it is. As we were just saying, Natalie picks up that warning as she's under pressure, and that really changes the dynamic of things here. Anyone could win this now. Anyone could DNF now. And anyone can pick up a penalty. Unfortunately, Smith the same. He's so close. He's going to go for it here, I think. He stays behind to get DRS, but he sneaks it up the inside. Great move. And what's that going to do? Let's watch on with Matty in behind, who's got a bit of a poor exit. Natalie's taking the position back, but Smith does have DRS. He's not going to be close enough. Neither of them have really got any ERS. But if we had to say, Matty's got the most. As we cross the line on the 30th lap of this Grand Prix, 6 laps to go. It's time to do some tyre comparisons, I think, because it'll be interesting to see how those mediums are shaping up for Smith. Let's see. He's only on 20% front, 25% rear. He's in a better position than Natalie, 30% all over. So Smith's definitely got it for now, but will he have it in 6 laps? Probably not. Matty the same. He's 20 on the front, 30 on the rear, so he's got plenty of turning left, more so than Smith as well. Let's see then. Are we going to have a move on the cards? No, he holds what he's got. It's really difficult to be in the middle like this for Smith. Not only does he have to consider an attack, he also has to worry about Matty in his rear mirror. can't be overly aggressive, but he can't be too defensive. He can't allow Natalie to drop him. But if Matty makes a move, that'll only benefit the leader. So he's got to get this move done early and hopefully force Natalie back into the path of Matty to hold them both up a little bit. And he's gone for it through the chicane of champions, and it's all gone wrong for him. He absolutely sent it. I didn't get a good on board, but all of a sudden Matty takes the lead of the race. What a piece of driving that is. He waited for that mistake, as I was just alluding to, and he's absolutely capitalised. And now he is legitimately in P1 of this race post penalties as things stand. And I'm just going to bring up how many penalties he's got. He's only got 4 warnings, so he's got 2 spare warnings left before he'll be under pressure, and he's dropped Natalie by 7/10. Smith still on the charge. Are those hard tyres really what you want to be on? Come the end of the race there will be, sorry, but at the moment it seems as though the mediums are all over those hard tyres. But like I say, come the end of the race, that might change a little bit. And I believe, is Matty going to pick up DRS from the Red Bull of Callum, I guess? Yeah, it can only be Callum. No, he's not, actually, so that hasn't helped him at all. Issue in Sector 3, that's just slow-moving vehicle, slow-moving traffic, that's okay. Some of these gaps on this, around this circuit are pretty ridiculous. I'm very, very glad this battle for the lead is what we have. It's half-time at the Bernabeu, so I can focus on this as we enter the final few laps here. This has been a great race. Well, I mean, that wasn't that entertaining to begin with, but in the finish, it is. It's all coming to a head. Let's take a look at the live drivers' table then. As it stands, Riker moves down a position, as you would expect, Natalie regaining the lead of the championship. Matty, however, he is taking the biggest lead, and he drives himself up to P6 as it stands. Smith closes that gap to only 11 points, but he could have that deficit reduced even further if he is to take Natalie, and then obviously then get the 2-second advantage over her. She hasn't committed another track limits warning since she picked up the penalty, so she's in no danger of picking up another one. Penalties galore here. I'll tell you what, Danos, I'm going to check Danos and Snellhank. Both of them are only 1 warning away from a penalty. It would be quite something if the entire grid picked up a penalty. And that back, the order at the back there is going to be shaken up. Not too much, but there will definitely be some shifting around at some point. Smith still struggling to stay with Natalie. And who's that? Who's that? Is Dino causing yellow flags? Yes, it's the AI of Dino causing yellow flags. The AI should just box one. It hasn't even got a front wing. It doesn't even have a front wing. Oh, and what was that? Matty has hit the wall, has he? No, he hasn't hit the wall. No damage. He just had a poor exit, which has brought Natalie right back into it. Smith's been dropped a little bit. Now that Natalie has regained that DRS, she was a monster down the straight compared to he earlier. As we head round for the penultimate lap, we're already near the end of the race. I'm going to invite them in for some interviews because this is going to be the podium, I believe. Unless someone has a dramatic end.
Discover the new way to your new Mercedes-Benz. No matter where or when you buy it. Online or in store. Choose your car and there's just one price. Plus, there's a range of offers across some of our most popular cars. Search Mercedes-Benz on your showroom or book and test
Right then, let's see what happens. Matty is going to win this race as it stands, unless Natalie has something to say about it. And let's take a look at the latest lap data. We can see Natalie is gaining, but she's losing most of the bulk of the time in the second sector. But best part of 2/10, 4/10 on the other side of that. So let's keep an eye out for her down the straight. If she can just get the second sector right and stay with him, she could regain the lead of the race as we head around for the final lap of the Grand Prix. It's now or never. And this, look at this. This will be absolutely huge for Matty if he can hold on to this. Look at that. And he might do, but let's just ride with them. I'll leave that open so you can get a good look at it. But Matty has had a dire time recently. 12, 4, 11, 5 and 14. And all of a sudden he could be about to take home his first win in a while. I don't want to say his first win of the season because I'm not sure. But he comes across the line. He should be absolutely fine. And Matty, what a result that is. He wins the race with time penalties in consideration. Smith, unfortunately, takes home that penalty and drops him outside of the podium places. So Danos gets himself up there as well. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take him out of the interviews and see if anyone joins us. What a race that was. What a finale. Now I'm just going to mute my stuff around here so we don't hear anything. And I will close down these things. So let's take a look at the drivers then. As it stands, Matty and Smith have made inroads. They're gaining, that's for sure. But Natalie cements a good performance and puts in the best part of a 30-point gap at the top of the championship. I don't think there'll be much in the steward's room. Perhaps the Moki incident with Callum earlier on, but it was a light tap, so it might be a lot, you know, if he was to put that in, but we'll never know. And in fact, it shouldn't change an awful lot anyway, because the gaps toward the back of the field were very large. Hello, Natalie.
Hey, yeah, how are you?
How's it going? Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm glad that Canada's done. I hope that's right.
Well,
Horrible.
yeah, I mean, I saw you mention that earlier, but that was a hell of a finish. I've been sat here with massive gaps up and down the field all night, and then in those last 5 or 6 laps, it all came to a head, and Matty was able to take you there.
Yeah, I got screwed over a little bit because the Mercedes came from a little bit too far back and tried forcing a bit of a silly move, so I had to bail out the last chicane, which let Matty through.
Yeah, I think I caught that.
So don't get me wrong, like Matty had an absolutely cracking race.
Yeah.
He was really quick all night. And the hards to the mediums was definitely the quickest strat tonight. But I just hate Canada, and the time that I always get corner cut pens is whenever I'm following someone around there, because I can't see the turning, because it's a lot of like late turn-ins and things like that, and that's when I always corner cut. So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to try and get past people, so I had a bit of clean air. But no, I got forced into bailing out that chicane, and Matty, being sensible, managed to get past both of us in one go, which I don't think that the Merc needed to do that, because he was a lot quicker and he would have got past me anyway. But yeah, bit frustrating, but one of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was noticing toward the end, the last few laps, it seemed you were dropping about 2/10 in the second sector, but you were roughly 2/10 quicker in the first and the third. So a few more laps, and you might have been able to put a move on. I mean, you finished, a matter of tenths behind him on the line. And obviously, it was ironic, actually, because I was aware that you were only one track limits warning away from a penalty, and then I almost cursed you because not long after it came in, and that's obviously what opened the door for those two guys. Matty and Danos are with us. Matty, if you're here, congratulations, mate. I brought up your form.
Thank you.
Brought up your form just at the end there, and it's not very pleasant viewing, is it? So I bet that's nice
No,
to
it's
get yourself
been
back on the top step.
shocking few weeks. Yeah, it's a nice change from the last few weeks.
How was that then toward the end? You got it done? Were you convinced you'd get it done on those medium tyres, or, did you see how it goes? Obviously, actually, until late, as I've just said, Natalie didn't have that penalty, so that came as a bit of a shock,
Yeah,
and then you were like, right, I've got to go for it now.
It was the right strat, but I was worried. So I was worried about Danos behind, so I had the 3-second penalty. And when Smith and Nat were fighting in front, it was sort of, I knew that he was going to close in within the 3 seconds. But then it almost allowed me, when I had that penalty, I was trying to drive quite conservatively not to get the penalty. But then once I did, it was a lot easier just to commit to turns and drive normally, which actually sort of helped my pace a bit.
Yeah, I picked up on that because I realised you were on 4 penalties, so I thought, well, he's got a bit of a buffer now, and he can risk a few, sends perhaps to try and secure the win, which you absolutely did. And there was a point where you did very well. I believe you were a second and a half behind Smith, who was a second and a half behind Natalie. And by the time Smith had caught up, you'd also caught up. So you gained some massive time and were there at the right time to sort of snip up that mistake. The little, I don't think it was contact, but the mistake.
3 seconds and sort of started, just started trying to put in hot laps every lap.
Yeah, and it paid off, mate. So well done to you. Good start as well from
Thank you.
P5. So yeah, and you took the fastest lap. So good stuff all round.
Even better.
And Danos, hello, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Good result. I mean, you started well. Your qualifying was great. And I'm just going to bring up your form so I can remind myself. 5th last week, 10th the week before, and then 2 podiums. So, unlike Matty, you've had quite a good run as of late.
What can I say? In the Netherlands, we say even a blind squirrel finds an acorn sometimes.
Well, mate, it seems like you found plenty of acorns over the last few weeks, so you can maybe keep this up now till the end of the season.
It was a good race. I got a bit stalled up behind some blue flags, and then I got a bit lucky that Smith had a massive penalty. In my opinion.
I mean, I'll tell
big
you what,
shout
mate.
out to him also because he let me past him before the finish. I don't know if it was deliberately, but.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I believe it was you and Snellhenk were the only drivers on the entire grid not to pick up a penalty, so you make your own luck in that sense. Smith's, unfortunately, was in the pit lane, so less of a warning. He managed to keep it within the track limits the whole race, but, you didn't get one, and you got the rewards, so that's a 3rd place
I'm
for
pleased.
you. Yeah. It's all good, and good racing as well at the end. I mean, it was a very, very spread grid for the vast majority of the race, which gave me a bit of time to work on this telemetry stuff, which if you end up watching the stream, you'll see was quite good, actually. We've got plenty of extra little pieces of data floating around now, which is good. So
It was nice. Big thanks to all the drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And thoughts on Jeddah? Is it Jeddah next week? Or is that the following week?
I'm
No, it's Portugal.
quite
Portugal
confident.
next week. Portugal.
Also,
Still-
kill me now.
Yeah, still confident on Portugal there, Danos?
Yes, Portugal. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So.
Oh, good. So another podium then.
Net Packers, I'm coming for you.
It's such
Congrats on the win.
I love Portugal, but T1 lap 1 is terrifying round
Yeah, this is true.
It's just not fun because if you get squeezed on the inside curb will absolutely murder you.
It will. And then it'll probably
hope
send
it's
you
a
off
wet
into
race.
somebody else.
Horrible.
Oh, wow. That would be very,
Better make
very
sure you get told
interesting.
then.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I'm watching you, Dan.
That's it. Pole will be crucial.
Speedy pants.
Okay.
All right, see you on track, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
good stuff, guys. Thanks for joining.
See
Great job,
later.
Danos.
Good
Great job,
racing.
Matt.
Yeah, cheers,
Well done,
guys.
Matty, mate. Thanks for the comms as well, Glassy.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Was my telemetry actually working this week?
It was,
It seems
yeah.
to be a bit bipolar.
No, we had everything this week. It was all, everything was fine. Yeah, all good. So don't change
I
anything.
changed nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know why last time. But it worked, so we'll go with it. Oh well.
Absolutely. Right, good
No,
stuff.
thanks for the comms, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Good luck next week. See you later.
Thank you.
Right, and just like that, I didn't get a chance to scroll down the order to get the final classification of drivers, so I'll have to get that from the final lap. But that's been it from me this week. And as I got wrong, it's Portimao. I was going to say there, Portimao. around the Algarve International Circuit. One that I've got high expectations of Jones, actually, because he was actually at this track a month or two ago. So he knows it like the back of it, or he should know it like the back of his hand. So let's see how he gets on. Hopefully no unfortunate DNFs from him next week. And then we head to Jeddah, arguably my favourite track on the game for a sprint race, which will be absolutely electric, I feel. Shame that there's no qualifying, because qualifying laps that are around there are very satisfying nonetheless. And I need to update this graphic as well. We've removed the Hungaroring and Baku, so we'll have a break week, and we'll have the final doubleheader around Zandvoort and Interlagos. So thanks everyone for joining. I believe we've got Inorganic and Jones on Championship tomorrow, and then Kieran and Jones on Premier on Thursday, so be sure to tune in to those. Thanks for everyone who came. It was a bit of a quiet stream again. I'm going to have to do something to get the numbers up, but to the 5 people or the 4 people that are in here now, I appreciate that. Another quiet night in the chat, so we're going to have to do something about the interaction here, but it's all good nonetheless. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you next week.